All right, so this is the fourth quarter 2021 Campbell Soup Company earnings call summary, and I'm happy to report that we finally got a good report out of these guys. Someone in investors relations must have got into the executives' ear and told them to compare this quarter to 2019 pre-pandemic versus previous quarters because, as I said before, there's no way that Campbell Soup is ever going to compare to the business that they did during the lockdown. And so what they did was they reported everything on a 2 year and 3 year comparative gap. And so, but that's good news though, because compared to 2019, their sales are actually up about 10%. Now compared to last year this time, of course, sales are still down, but compared to 2019, sales are up, which means that a lot of the new customers that they brought in during the lockdown stayed around. They're still purchasing items from Campbell Soup. So that's really good to see and hear. Another thing is every single time that I go through one of these earnings calls for Campbell Soup, I find out about a new brand. Well, not a new brand, but I find out about a brand that I didn't know that Campbell Soup owned. Namely, for this quarter was Pace. I never knew Campbell Soup owned Pace salsa. So, man, it makes me really excited to just look at all this stuff. They are doing some marketing schemes and stuff like that to get to some of the younger customer base, primarily with goldfish. They're releasing a goldfish Frank's Red Hot flavor. And so they are doing some things to try to get to that younger customer base. And I think it's working out pretty good. They did mention inflation being a big headwind going into next year because they typically sign contracts for supplies such as steel for the cans, paper for the labeling, resin for the inside coating of the food packages and things like that. So they make these contracts for a year, sometimes longer, and so their prices are set, at those contracted prices. But once those contracts are up, they have to get new contracts, and typically whatever the price is for those items when the new contract comes out is the price that they'll have to pay going forward. And so right now we know that steel prices are up primarily due to China reducing steel production. We also know that oil prices are coming up a little bit for the plastics and stuff like that. The other thing is that they mentioned they're still having trouble with supply, meaning that they can't quite meet demand. And that is really frustrating to hear because if we do run into another lockdown and people, raid the shelves like they did last year, Campbell Soup is not going to be able to restock those shelves if they haven't ramped up production this year to supply the demand that we saw last year. So that is a bit troubling, especially because not only are they dealing with supply chain issues, like trucking and shipping and stuff like that, but they're also talking about labor being an issue. I've talked about this in previous videos. We have a lot of free cash floating out there right now. Unemployment checks are due to stop in September, but we really won't see how that all shakes out until possibly November, December of this year. And so hopefully, it's kind of it's a weird situation because in one way, you definitely want a lockdown to happen because that'll be good for business, right? But the problem is because you've already had these shortages because of the previous lockdowns, you won't be able to meet demand for the coming lockdowns if there are any. Campbell Soup is not is not foreseeing that. They don't think that we'll run into those same lockdowns that we had before, and I have to kind of go with them. I mean, they're the professionals. If anyone will know anything about coming lockdowns, I think it'll be Campbell Soup, right? Um, the other thing I did touch on, but I didn't discuss, was inflation, right? So, like I said before, there's a lot of free money floating out there, and so what that has done is that it's raised prices for a lot of products and goods and stuff that Campbell Soup purchases in order to make their products. And so, because of this inflation that they're seeing at like 8, 9%, they plan on increasing their prices beginning in 2022. Now, whenever you increase your prices, typically that means that you also lose some customers. That also means that you lose some sales. And so, what that balance will be, we don't know. Campbell Soup said that they did a lot of marketing and advertising during the pandemic, or during the lockdowns, I should say. That has come way down for this fourth quarter, which means the last 3 months. They have not done as much advertising, as much marketing. They have not given as many discounts, and so that really helped to drive their profit, which, by the way, they beat on. They beat on profit, which is earnings per share, and they also beat on revenue. So analysts thought that their profit was going to be this, and Campbell Soup did better than that, right? Analysts thought that their revenue was going to be this, or their sales were going to be this, and Campbell Soup did better than that. And so the price shot up about 2% today, which is really good. This is a small position for us, but it is a decent company that we're investing in, and we may even look at purchasing more. A couple things I did want to look at. So this is just showing again the difference in sales year over year. You see it was actually down 3%, but they did this really cool thing where they compared everything to 2-year comparison, right? So 2-year comparatively, they're actually up 3%, right? And that's pretty good. And earnings per share up 14%. The other thing, yeah, so 75% of their total portfolio either gained more customers or held on to their customers. So that's really good to see and hear. Another thing is they sold off one of their product lines, Plum Organics, and they sold it to, I forget the name of the company, but it's whoever makes the raisins. I forget the company's name, but they sold their Plum brand to them, which, put a little bit of money in their pocket, but not a whole lot. I think they reported something like maybe 2 cents per share or something like that, profit from selling the company. It's organic baby food, which I think is a really cool brand. Maybe it wasn't doing so good, and so that's why they sold it. Personally, I've never purchased Plum products. I have not seen them much on shelves, but then again, it's because I don't do a lot of shopping for organic baby food. That's really about it. Like I said, they are looking good. They're looking good. We're really gonna see what happens with the price increases. Really gonna keep an eye out for what's happening with inflation. I mean, if Campbell Soup is saying 9% inflation, I mean, you can bet that's what we're seeing in inflation for the U.S. We talked about inflation with Regions Financial Bank. They're seeing deposit accounts, saving accounts increase. So there's a lot of money out there right now. And Campbell Soup is definitely raising their prices. I can imagine that everyone else is doing the same thing, which means all Americans will be paying a lot more money for their food going forward. But anyway, that's it, and I'll see you next time.